Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone in today's class for the 6th elementary grade. Our textbook is Weekend 3 and today inshallah we will cover Unit 7, Fun on the Weekend Phonics on pages 56 and 57. This lesson will be presented by me, teacher Mazen Harbi, and the sign language by Mr. Fawaz Al-Agil. So let's begin. Quick revision on our last lesson. In our last lesson, we had an interesting listening exercise where we had a table similar to this, and what we needed to do is that we did listen to a conversation between two women who are planning to make a pizza. And while they are discussing in the conversation, they talked about what ingredients do they need and how much and how many amount do they need when they want to make this pizza. So what we did is that we listened twice, and after this we helped to finish or continue this table by the required answers. So this table, the content of this table was about what do they have when we listen. It is written here, what do they need. They said that they need flour, they need oil, cheese, tomatoes, peppers, and mushrooms. And how much do they need? They said that they needed 2 cups of flour and also have a cup of oil and 3 cups of cheese. And we did hear this information and we did circle them. And also, as for tomatoes, the already information we have is that they have 4 tomatoes. As for peppers, they needed 2 more peppers, and also for mushrooms, they they needed 10 mushrooms. So what we did is that we did listen to this conversation, and we did circle all the answers from this table. And also after this, I encouraged you to try to practice this table and to do the same exercise with a partner, maybe a family member, for example, and just decide a meal that you had in mind and just write down a table similar to this about what do you need and how much do you have and how many do you have, and also write down whether you have it or not with yes or no, and have this simple conversation with your partner, and you will end up with an interesting table similar to this. And even you can use phrases. You can use phrases like how much starts with how much, and that starts with how many. And also, when you want to make a suggestion, when you want to ask them, you should use phrases like why don't we? Why don't we make spaghetti, for example? Why don't we make a pizza? Why don't we make a salad? So you can use this phrase to begin with, and after this, and this is what is most important, which is to write down the phrases about what do you have and what you don't have. And this is where exercise 3 comes in. So in exercise 3, I ask you to write down 2 sentences with some, any, and but. And I said that when you have something or of the ingredients of the things that you want for making this food, then you can use the phrase we have. We have some flowers. We have some flour. We have some tomatoes. We have some oil. And also, if you don't have, then you can start a new phrase or a new clause starts with but. But we don't have any oil, for example. So, if you have something, you start your sentence with we have, and then you mention what you have, and after this, if you don't, then you start the sentence with but we don't have, and then you say what are the things that you needed most. So I encourage you to do, write down 2 sentences about the things that you have and the things that you don't have by using some, any, and also but. And after this, the last exercise we had in our last lesson, which is about ordering in a restaurant. And in this exercise, where we played two different roles. The first one is as a waiter or as a waitress. Is that when you take a piece of paper and you act like a waiter. When you stand next to the customer and ask him a phrase using this question, which is, what would you like? And write down all the things that this customer wants. And after, when he finishes or when she finishes ordering and telling you her or his order, then you would use this phrase, sure, just a moment. Sure, just a moment. So this is our first role as a waiter or waitress. And I even said that if you want to play as a customer, then you would sit and the waiter comes in and you can choose any partner that you would like to play with. Choose any partner and make sure that he uses this phrase, what would you like? And then as a customer who are ready to make an order, you would use the phrase that starts with, I would like. And then you choose anything that you'd like from the menu. I would like a salad. I would like a soft drink. I would like a glass of water. Then you can use anything you would like or order from the menu as long as you start with, I would like. And once you finish, you say the phrase, please. I would like a salad, please. I would like a glass of water, please. So here are two different roles that you can play with or as with your partner. And I hope that you did try it, because it's very interesting game and it helps us to act when we are going into a real situation. And now, let's get to know our objectives in today's lesson. At the end of this lesson, we hope that you will be able to, number one, differentiate between ND and NT sound, and also learn some new vocabulary and ask for directions. So what we're going to do now on today's lesson is that we're going to listen to different words that ends with ND and ends with NT, just to make a difference, differentiate between them. And also, we're going also to learn some new vocabulary about these two words that ends with ND and NT. And after this, we're going to learn how to ask for directions. How to ask for direction if we got lost in a place or any other place. Now, I would like you please to open your books on page 56. I would like you please to open your books on page 56. Now on page 56, as you can see here, we're going to see two pictures. And what we're going to do with this picture is that we're going to listen to how we pronounce each one of these two words, and also we're going to read them and see how they are written, and also we're going to practice. We're going to say them over and over again, so we practice how to pronounce the end sound of each of these words. So here, as you can see, we have a picture of a desert, and what is a desert is known for its sand, and also it is known to have a tent like this. So now I'm going to point at the word, and I would like you to read it, and I would like you to say it with me. So the first word here we have is sand. Sand. Sand ends with the sound of ND. And the second word we have here is tent. Tent. Tent ends with the sound of NT. Tent. So let's say it again. Now I'm going to say the word again, and I would like you to repeat after me. Sand. 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 Sand ends with ND. Sand. Sand. Very well. Let's move on to the next word. Tent. Say it with me. Tent. 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 Tent ends with the sound NT. Tent. Tent. Very good. So here we had sand and tent. Sand, tent. Now, let us move on quickly to the other exercise. In this one, we're going to listen and going to put a check mark for the words that ends with ND and the words that ends with NT. And then we're going to complete the whole words. So what we're going to do first here, as an example, I'm going to say the first word, and once I finish, you will see that the sound of this word ends with ND. And after I listen, the writing part comes in. Here I need to finish and complete the word. So let's start with the first one. The first word that we have here is hand. Hand. Say it with me. Hand. Hand. Very good. So here we go and write down ND. Hand. Hand. So now I'm going to say the second word. I want you to pay attention and listen carefully and then decide whether if it ends with ND, then here we put a check mark. If it ends with NT, then here we put a check mark. Okay, then let's begin. The second word, number 2, is paint. 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 Again, paint. Paint. Very well. So the word paint, what is the sound that it ends with? Is it ND or NT? Of course, it ends with NT. Now let's go and write it down. So the second word is paint, NT. Here we're going to complete the word by writing NT. NT. Very good. Now let us move on to the third word. Let us move on to the third word. Listen carefully and decide if this word ends with ND or NT. So number 3, stand. Stand. Again, stand. Stand. Very good. So what do you think? What is the sound that this word ends with? Is it ND or NT? Of course, it ends with ND. So here we're going to put a check mark under ND and we're going to complete the word. We're going to complete the word. So here we're going to write down ND. We're going to write down ND. So here we go. N and D. This is the word stand. Stand. Ends with ND. Stand. Now, let's listen to the fourth and final word. Let's listen carefully to the fourth and final word. The final word is plant. Plant. Again, plant. Plant. So what do you think? What is the sound that this word ends with? Is it ND or NT? Exactly. The answer is NT. Plant. So now let's go ahead and continue writing or completing this word. So here I'm going to choose blue. Let's write down this word. Plant. Plant. Very good. So here we do finishes all these 4 words, and now we can differentiate between the words that ends with ND and NT. But before we move on, let's just repeat the words once again. The first one, and repeat after me. Hand. Hand. Paint. Paint. stand, stand. Plant, plant. Very good. Now, let us move on. Now, here we have a chant, and what we're going to do after listening to this chant is that we're going to circle, to make circles on the words that ends in nd and nt. Okay? So the first thing is with that, we're going to listen. After we listen, we're going to circle. After we circle, we're going to chant it again. So listen to this chant and pay attention to the words that ends with nt and nd. There is sand all around. There is sand in my hand, golden sand in the sun. There is a tent on the land. There is a tent on the sand, golden sand in the sun. Now, in this chant, there are words that ends with nd and nt. Let's go sentence by sentence and try to circle all of these words that ends with nd and nt. So in the first one here, in the first word, here we have, there is sand all around. What are the words that ends with nd? Excellent. It is sand. This is the first word. And also around. And with the other one, there is sand, also sand, in my hand, ends with nd. And finally, golden sand in the sun. So here in the first part we have 5 words that ends with nd. Now let us move on to the second part and find out what are the words that ends with nt. Let's choose different color here this time. Let's choose red. So there is a tent on the land. So here tent ends with nt and land which ends in nd. And there is a tent on the sand. So here also we have this word tent ends with nt and sand ends with nd. Golden sand in the sun, and this word also ends with nd. So can you count and tell me how many words did we underline here? Exactly, here we have 10 words. 2 of them ends with nt and the rest ends with nd. Now let's chant it one more time before we move on to the next page. So everyone, and repeat after me. There is sand all around. There is sand in my hand, golden sand in the sun. There is a tent on the land. There is a tent on the sand, golden sand in the sun. Very well. Now we did listen, we did underline or circle the words end with nd and t, and also we did chant it. So now let us move on to page 57. I would like you please to move on to page 57. On page 57, what we're going to do is that I would like you to imagine that you are in a shopping mall. And once you are in a shopping mall, I would like you to be an information person and show a partner the right store. Usually when someone comes in and when you see someone lost in a mall and you want to help him by directing him to the right store, usually you will start by asking him a question similar to this. Can I help you? Can I help you? And once he tells you or she tells you what is the right store or the kind of store that she is looking or he is looking for, then you can use phrases like this, as we learned last time. If it's far away, you can say that it's right there. And if it's very close, you can say it's here. Then usually to be or to help people, to direct them, usually we use these kind of phrases. Is that we approach them and we ask them, can I help you? And when they ask us for what is the kind of store or the store that they are looking for, then I can point. If it's far away, I would say that it's right there or it is over there. And if the store is close, I would say it is right here. Then keep this in mind once you go to when you go shopping or to the shopping mall next time, and try to help out people who are lost. And now, at the end of our lesson, it's important that you are able to say and read and also write words ends with nd and nt, and also to read English store signs in town. So once you can know the direction when you are shopping. And now we have reached the end of our lesson. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.